Hey everybody, welcome back to Stamping School. This is Linda. I got so many requests to show this Stampin' Positioner, which is coming out in February, free with a starter kit. If you join Stampin' Up, you get the starter kit, and this comes free with it. And then I think it's going to be, they said it was going to be available for customers later. So if you have the Stamparatus, which was my all-time favorite thing in the world, that retired, if you have that, you probably don't need this. I'll show you my comparisons of the two, and then we'll take this thing for a spin. I've been playing with it for about 3 or 4 days now since I got it. And I think there's pros and cons to everything, right? You know, I love the Stamparatus when we had it because I love the hinge that doesn't go anywhere. Like, it just is so sturdy. I love that it had an open end on it. I wish we still had it, but we don't because of some issues with the patent on the hinge. So we can't make anything with the hinge anymore because somebody else has a patent for that. So this guy is really just to fill the hole that we really need for a Stampin' Positioner. Stampin' Up! Did not create this. I believe the company that makes these, you can find them under other names. They made it for us. They put our logo on it and made it black and white, and you know, so that we had something. You know, as we get older, shaky hands and all of that, it's getting harder for me even to get the little sentiments just right. All right, so this is what it looks like. There's no hinge. This part is double-sided, so it's got a nice grid on it. And there's these two bouncy little posts here that go through the hole, and then you just press it. So that's a pro in that a lot of people were intimidated by the Stamparatus or the Misty or whatever one you use with the hinge. You know, there's 2 different hinges and, you know, all of that. This, I think, is easier and more simple. It's not complicated to use at all. And there are 2 magnets that come with it. And another pro is that they do not bust. So, you know, our old magnets that we used to use, if you touch them together, they broke. These don't, and they have a nice handy dandy little tab on there. There's these little tiny dots right here. So if you want the grid paper, you can definitely get that also when it's available. And it fits, you know, they go right here on there. Fits on the little tabs, just like the old printer paper. And then these right here are for this bit right here. You can do repetitive stamping with this little guy, or you can do just a sentiment on here, and you can mount your stamp and press it and go down the line, and that's what this one is for. I noticed a lot of these on the market didn't include this, and I think this is really good to have. If you're gonna get this, I think it's nice that these all come together. Right. So let me show you a couple things with this. Oh, by the way, I found this from my early stamping days. This is foam. And you put your stamp here, and then you just press down with the foam, which worked sometimes and sometimes it didn't, but that's an oldie. Now I'm gonna take out the grid paper just so it's not distracting to the camera. What I do like about this one, first of all, it's a nice size, and there's a ruler, and I know you can't see it, but there's actually a ruler across here that starts at 0. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4 this way, and 1, 2, 3, 4 this way, which I find handy. There's also, well, you're not gonna be able to see this. There's a little triangle right here. A lot of people have recommended to put it up here and then put your magnets on and then stamp with it this way. It's disorienting for me. I have a real hard time with it. So I don't know. I've tried it in different ways, and I struggle with that. So now, one thing I really like is that you can do a whole card like this. You don't have to just do a little piece of a card that fits inside. You know, I like the open ends, which is really nice. So I like that you can do a whole sheet, and you don't have to always just work in panels. Like this card right here is just one long piece of thick cardstock, and it works really well. So I did find that I needed more magnets or to tape it down. because sometimes, you know, the stamps stick to it and it can move slightly. Because there's not an edge or a corner to stick it to, you want to make sure that you're really sticking it down. Now I'll take this big stamp right here, put it with the flat side up and the logo up, put it in the corners, mount it like that. Make sure this is in the same spot, and then I can ink it up and stamp it. So I do like being able to take the whole thing off like this easier. The Stamparatus had the hinge and you can remove it, but it was a little more firm to remove it. This is pretty nice. Stick it back on the two things and stick it down. Now, if you don't have the strength to do this, you can use a dry eraser and use that. They do sell, like out in the craft market, they sell these things that you can hold on to. I always just used a big eraser. Now, if I felt like I didn't get enough ink on it, I can ink it up again, which is nice. Put it on here. Now, there's a touch of a play with that, so that worked out really well. So you can re-stamp it again. Now, let's say you wanted to do a little sentiment, but you didn't want to take this off. So you could use the other side. My talented team member, Cindy Brumbaugh, realized that it works on both sides. So you could line up your sentiment and use the other side here. And the holes will match up, and then you can put your sentiment there and put it down. Now, if you want to use this little guy for the sentiment, let me show you how that works. Get all these down, or tape it. I just like using the magnets if you can make it fit. So let's say we want to put this on here, because you know what happens. You make the card and then you mess up the sentiment, and then you have to make it a banner, right? So we're going to get this as close to the little guys as possible. There's two holes right here, and put it down. Get that out of the way. And then there it is. I can kind of look at it and make sure that that's really straight. And then ink it up. So I do like this little guy a lot. I feel like I can really get in there with the ink, and it works great for sentiments. The only thing I'll say that I don't like as much versus the hinge, there is a little bit of play here. Just a little bit. So you got to just make sure that you just put it down, press it, and that's it, and then you're done. So just that play versus the hinge, stamping it twice as a sentiment, there's just that little bit of movement there, if you can see that. Now you can still do the die cut stamping, which I love, which is what I did on this one here. You can have your template, and I can even do it this way. Doesn't matter which way you do it, and you can even, I'll put it up in the hinge just to show you what that looks like through these two little posts. Okay, do all of this, get all that down, and again, I still like a third one. So I cut this die out of white cardstock. This is from Thankful Garden. This one right here. These dies, there's a big flower and a hydrangea in there. And you just take your die and cut these. These are blanks, right? So you can just have as many of these ready to go as you want. And then you just put it right in your template here, just because you die cut it. And you just have to do this one template once, and then you just keep putting your blanks in there, okay? And now you can just lay it right on top. Actually, if this is the better way to do it, take that out, lay that in there. That way you know it's really, really in there. Okay, so it kind of fits right in the die cut there. Put that on, mount it, sticks to it. Now you put your blank in, and then now this will be, you can do 10 or more, however many you want to do, and kind of do bulk. Same thing we used to do with the Stamparatus, but this, it works the same. Ink it up, stick it on, make sure that's back where it's supposed to be, press it. It's nice because sometimes, you know, you get off a little bit when you try to do it with a big block, but then you can just keep popping these in and doing the same thing. Ink it up and do another one. So if you have a lot of cards to make, this is kind of fun to do. So can I recommend it? Yes, I can. I think I really put it through the paces this week. I think I really like it. I miss the hinge in some scenarios, but then I also really like just being able to take it off and clean it easier and without it always being attached. So I say it's definitely worth it. It's definitely worth it to get it free in February. I think it's February 3rd or 4th. It starts to go free with the starter kit. So that's a $50 value. That's a no-brainer if you want to join up. But then after that, I think it'll probably be $49 or something in the US. So I'll keep you posted on it. I'll keep using it and let you know how it's going. Are these hydrangeas pretty? That's with the Thankful Garden. And the blues, blueberry bushel and garden green, and it comes with the masks. So I used this before in a video. If you need me to repost that, if you missed it, let me know. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. See it, learn it, stamp it.